All right, hey everyone, welcome back. War number 4 here, season 32. We are facing HCMA. I believe they are called Magneto. I think that's the name of their alliance. Kind of cool. I had 6 fights this war. She-Hulk, Nimrod, and Mr. Fantastic. You know, that's the go-to. They had pretty good placements. We we struggled a bit in our battle group this war. As I'm recording this, the war actually isn't over, so I don't know how it's going to turn out. But I've done my part. My part of the war is finished, so went ahead and compiled this video. I had Massacre on 6A, followed by Colossus on the shared mini, and then I did Venom on Footloose, Apocalypse, and Longshot on 6B, and then Mangog on the Safeguard mini. I'll show you my mastery setup too. I ran max collar tech again for Nimrod, even though he only had 2 fights, Massacre and Apocalypse. Massacre was on that whatever that node ability is where they gain extra combat power rate up to level 2. And obviously you don't want to deal with Massacre's level 2, blocked or unblocked. So I wanted the collar tech, and then I also used a Mr. Fantastic combat power pre-fight, just to make sure. There was nowhere to actually ramp Mr. Fantastic for additional pre-fights this war, which, you know, was kind of a bummer because those pre-fights are strong. Had to save one for Mangog, Petrify, and one for Venom. In hindsight, probably didn't need one for Apocalypse since I was running collar tech, but you know, what are you gonna do? Either way, it was a good war, real clean for me. I did a bunch of dueling versus Longshot. I think honestly that was the trickiest fight for me, or I looked at it and saw that as being potentially the most problematic. So I did a ton of duels for Longshot. I went back and forth on whether or not I was going to use Longshot or She-Hulk, or I'm sorry, Mr. Fantastic or She-Hulk for Longshot. There's our bands. We had Apocalypse, Quake, and Corvus bands. But ultimately, Mr. Fantastic, I only had one pre-fight left, and it was going to be for Mangog. So I didn't want to use Mr. Fantastic for Longshot. He definitely can work, but Longshot's on that second node on 6B, the one with Disorient and the prowess gain on every special. So without a pre-fight set, I didn't really want to run Mr. Fantastic. He's still really good without pre-fights, but because he does have unblockable on level 1, level 2. I don't remember if that's passive or if that's a buffed unblockable. I think it might be passive. Because if it's a buffed unblockable, I think Longshot can steal it or something to that effect. I don't exactly know how the interaction between Longshot and his buffs and buff stealing. But either way, it's harder and riskier to reset your pre-fights on that node anyway, because you can't really parry safely. And I think She-Hulk is just better equipped, to be honest. I have her at rank Sig 200, rank 3. So she already has that native combat power rate reduction against Mystics, and that pretty substantial attack increase versus Mystics as well. So, and I'm just super proficient with her. So I dueled a bunch with her versus Longshot. I dueled without Mystic Dispersion on, but I always assumed that at this level, everyone with a Mystic, it's going to be max MD. If it's not, great, you look out, but ultimately that's, what you have to assume. But yeah, that was the trickiest fight on here. Anyway, let's get into this Massacre fight here. So, as you saw, I maxed Collar Tech, Aggression Prowess, Power Focus, that's what it is, Power Focus 2. I did put Combat Power Rate on here, I think, just to try to inhibit his power gain a bit, because I don't want to deal with that level 2 on block. Level 1 start, This was pretty straightforward. You know, parry a couple times, get his protocol up, and then just wait to launch the level 2. Stack the protocol. And Massacre's heavy. That thing has got some distance. But ultimately, like any node with prowess, you know, Nimrod you could just beat the node just staying in Blitz protocol or Eradicate. And because I mean, he removes prowess on block and turns it to shock. So if they're not shock immune, you can just sit there and just whittle them down with the shock damage if you want to, which is really neat, I think. Yeah, level 2, you know, and he just falls over. That's it. Big boost, obviously. Don't want to die. I don't want that loss to be on my hands. Colossus, you know, you have to assume this guy is gonna just start out unstoppable because he starts with, you know, his own armor ups and kabam RNG. You know how that goes. So an opening parry heavy here, which is, you know, pretty straightforward and typically what you do with She-Hulk. You don't necessarily want to do that. Back away, see if he procs any unstoppable from his own armor ups, and if he doesn't, then you're safe to dig in. And then get that slow up, and then pretty much just you know, handle it from there. So we're safe here. This is ebb and flow knockdown. So once you knock him down, you've got free reign to get max damage in. But you do need to watch for the when that protection comes back up, it's going to purify any slow or parry. So always watch for that. Any of the ebb and flow, intercept, ebb and flow knockdown. You just have to. It's hard with She-Hulk because her passive furies blend right in with the node passive furies. So it's just tough to, you know, keep an eye on the timer. See, there goes that protection. All those debuffs are purified. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, he's still a pushover, Colossus. You know, his move set is just easy to counter. You know, I just heavy counter or heavy counter level 1s and try to do less parry heavies against unstoppable armor defenders because, you know, if they get unstoppable, slows up, but if they're parry stunned, then they will cleanse that parry stun and can smack you. So I always try to land the heavy, less so on a parry stun and more so countering a level 1 or countering a heavy or something to that effect. So we do drop a Petrify pre-fight here because it helps counter the kinetic. And then once you get She-Hulk's Petrify up, then it just completely reverses kinetic. It just helps mitigate with Mr. Fantastic since his is only 40%. Level 1 start. I went with lighter, smaller science boosts here just because they're less hit points or a smaller health pool, right? And then I wanted to keep the larger science boosts for later on versus Mangog and Longshot. So yeah, this went pretty smoothly. He's got the armor up there, no unstoppable, but it doesn't really matter because, you know, got to keep that slow up. And the taunts, like I said, like those are just so big because it just keeps the rhythm going especially against large and extra large champs. You see Venom gets up, throws that level 1. I mean, She-Hulk just bodying, you know, getting it done. So yep, there's my first. No, I do Apocalypse on this first set of boosts. And I used a combat power rate pre-fight here, but in hindsight, I didn't need it because really the only threat here is the prowess. So like, and since Nimrod can just handle that straight away, it doesn't really matter, you know, if Apocalypse gains power, you know, and throws a level 1 or level 2 because he's not going to go unblockable without prowess. And once you cleanse those remove those prowess, he's just totally neutered basically. But I did put a pre-fight here. I guess, you know, I wasn't really considering that I could use one against Longshot. I honestly don't even know which one would have been better versus Longshot. Because, you know, you kind of want all three if you're going to use Mr. Fantastic, because you want to include that siphon in there. But if you're using She-Hulk, I mean, combat power rate, I guess, because even though she already reduces it by 25 against Mystics, you know, having that additional 25, it's nice, especially considering how the AI played against me. But, you know, Petrify, also great. Kind of reduces any willpower gains. And I still don't know how Petrify interacts with MD and like buffs. Like, so if you Dex buff and you go to attack and that precision Dex buff expires and you have Petrify on the defender, does that reduce the MD power gain? Assuming, let's say, they have max MD? I still don't know. I don't really know how you test that. Because I guess you kind of have to test it in war or get lucky in arena and, you know, record. But as we see, yep, Apocalypse just folds Nimrod, you know. Omega Sentinel. I think she's actually going to be in not this coming featured. I think she's going to be in the featured following this, which is kind of a bummer. I think it's going to be Captain Britain in this one. I think she's going to be the last one to make it in because they just did offers for her, and that kind of tracks as far as like her arena being before Omega Sentinels. But anyway, here we go. So this Longshot fight, I've dueled this guy a bunch because he's not tough, but you can get, you know, just like Silver Surfer and a couple others, like the AI is tuned to try to catch you on that dash back. After you commit to a full combo and maybe Dex back, they can catch you at that level 1, and they do it often. So finish your combo, hold block, or just parry, and then dash back. Or don't finish your combo, do 2-3 hits with a light, and then dash back. So you have time to potentially block that level 1. Because he gets really stingy here with this level 1. I think it takes almost a minute to bait him out of this level 1. And, you know, you see me go into neutral, not double dexing, because I know this guy's going to try to sucker me with the level 1, and I don't know exactly how it works, but if he hits you with this level 1 and you got like a bunch of unlucky or bad karma or whatever the heck it is, that level 1 can just, I'm pretty sure it can just kill you straight away. But yep, and I don't want to hit his block, as you can see right there. I would have pushed it to level 2. Obviously, you don't want to deal with that level 2. He does have MD. You see how his power goes up. I parried that level 1 second hit, and that's how I gained that prowess. That's what I was practicing right here. Parry, get that heavy in to proc some debuffs. You see I got 2 prowess on me here, trying to essentially play it stun immune. Bam, with the almost 50k crit. He's dead now, but you know, I get that power back and worked out. Probably could have just let him die from the willpower reversal, but you know, yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking though. You know, when I'm getting backed into a corner, I did not want to push him to level 2. If I had pushed him to level 2, I think I would have just held block and just tried to push him over that level 2 to level 3, because man, that level 2, if you miss evade that, you are done. So then my last pre-fight going here for Mangog, Petrify. Definitely want to reduce his power gain. This was tricky at the end here. You know, I always like to press with the stand your ground to see if they have it, and press with the spam heavies. Definitely familiar fighting Mangog with She-Hulk. You know, it's definitely straightforward. She hard counters this guy. Safeguard doesn't really matter, except that my special 2 with the science power back boost does not give me crap as far as return power. So, but apart from that, you know, it's all just power stings and slow. It's about that slow. And see, I get a couple spam heavies here. That one was kind of, it was unsafe because he was at a bar of power. He could have gotten up and done a level 1 into my face, but yep, MD proc there, the Dex buff. But I've been practicing spamming heavies, and then, you know, if I have a bar of power or 2 bars of power, you can actually spam heavies. If they have stand your ground, you can kind of spam them and with a little more safety, like a safety net, if you will. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute here. It's towards the end of this fight. I think I do a full combo here. Get his, oh, he's at max hatred. I didn't even realize that in the middle of the fight. A lot of stuff going on. Do a whiff bait, try to bait those level 1s and they work, or just bait his, you know, a hit when he gets up. Right here, whiff, yep, and look at that, he tries to tag me. Yeah, he's getting pissed. Waking up and trying to sucker me with a level 1. So right here, I think I go with the spam. No, he does one more level 1, that's right. Getting close. And then I spam heavies here, but you can see that I'll have a bar of power. So heavy, and then we're gonna go into spam, spam. One of these gets resisted right here, but see, bum. I had a bar of power, so like even though he resisted that, which I kind of thought was gonna come, if you wait just a split second and throw your level 1, they commit to an attack, and then you essentially intercept with your special. Take that, AI. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see how this war turns out. Hope it helps. Thanks, guys. Peace.